What are you being called to address or navigate this month? That is what the cards will reveal for the month ahead. 3 piles, 3 different messages. But this isn't about gaining insight and doing nothing with it. The magic or the transformation that you're seeking happens in what you do or don't do after the messages are revealed. Allow them to be confirmation of what you already know, or bring awareness to something that's hiding just beneath the surface. Take what feels correct, leave what does not. Use your intuition to choose the pile that you are drawn to the most. You can choose 1 pile or all 3. Timestamps are in the description. And let's get into your messages today. For those who chose the pyrite stone, this is going to be your month ahead soul alignment session. So we will get a theme card, which I'm not sure. Should we leave it to the end, or should we reveal it at the beginning and see how the tarot works in with that? We'll see what happens. If it flips up, we'll read it. If it doesn't, we'll wait for the end. How about that? Okay, we'll wait for the end. And let's hop into your tarot now to see what May has in store for you. Happy birthday, Taurus. Let's take a peek for Soul Path 1, the current energy. You're entering the month with the 8 of Cups energy. What is the challenge or opportunity in May? We have the 9 of Wands for your opportunity or challenge, and the guidance or the how-to or the what to do next. We have the 7 of Pentacles in reverse. So a little mix of everything here, with the Fool at the bottom of the deck. And that is your shadow card. So there could be something new that you would like to move towards. There could be a risk that you are starting to consider or maybe take in the month of May. There's also a freedom of something, so freedom and a liberation. And this could be conscious, but because it's a shadow card, it could be within the subconscious, something that's happening underneath. So 8 of Cups in your current energy, I feel like you have been really considering the things that aren't working for you, that aren't emotionally fulfilling, that aren't feeling good, that aren't giving you the depth or the meaning that you thought it might. And I feel you'd like to feel more fulfilled. You'd like to feel more whole. And that could be in a specific area of life, or that could be within yourself. So there is a risk involved here. And I think this is a moment that you're in where you're starting to consider what you're willing to risk in order to explore those desires, what fulfills you, what satisfies you, where you can find that emotional depth. So that kind of ties back to that Fool energy of you kind of having these feelings coming to the surface, and even considering what you must release, let go of, walk away from in order to feel free or liberated from what you're currently struggling with. And this could also be a cycle as well, an emotional cycle that you've been in, and you just feel a little done with it all. So your challenge or opportunity is the 9 of Wands. Yeah. We just talked about that. The 9 of Wands is an energy of perseverance, of continuing, charging ahead, having some challenges and having overcome some challenges along the way, maybe learning some lessons, but ultimately feeling really run down. And this might be a moment to pause or to rest. This could be an opportunity to do so when you are feeling fatigued or like you don't have anything left to give. And in this moment, you might actually start questioning, should I keep going? But I feel the challenge here is not having your pride get in the way of, I've gotten this far, let's just keep going and see what happens. That might be something that you have to sit with or get curious about or explore. And whether or not you feel that it's truly worth it, will it actually get you to your destination? Maybe you know, maybe you don't know. But how can you gauge that is the question that's coming through. How can you gauge when that endpoint is for you? And so that is a challenge of, do I stay? Do I go? Do I keep pushing forward? Do I hold back? And there's an opportunity to really explore those edges and those boundaries of, when should I stop? When should I pause? When should I turn back? When should I quit? And the willingness to do those things as well. The intuition that might come into play when you do pause and be still and recover. The Eight of Pentacles in reverse is the guidance or the how-to. Now, or pardon me, did I say the Eight of Pentacles? The Seven of Pentacles in reverse. Again, this is another reflection of something's not working, yet I keep putting energy into it. So the guidance is play around with not putting your energy into something, especially if it feels exhaustive, especially if it feels unfulfilling. Now, this goes beyond the things that we need to do to sustain ourselves, to survive, etc. These are the things that might be patterns in your life that need to be released, let go of. You're waiting for something to change and nothing's changed, and yet you still put your energy into that. You're not seeing the harvest, you're not seeing the reward, but yet you're really working hard to make that happen. So what happens when you stop? What happens when you stop and evaluate something? What happens when you start pulling the weeds and removing those things that might be futile, that might not be paying off and may never pay off? Because the freedom might not be in doing more to create that freedom or liberation you're looking for. It might be doing less. It might be simplifying. It might be releasing or letting go of something so that you can free yourself, your energy, your time, your resources for the things that are truly important to you. So in the Seven of Pentacles energy, specifically when it's in reverse, it's like you're scattering your time, energy, efforts, resources in the hopes that something might pay off eventually. Is there a strategy or an endpoint that needs to be put in place, a deadline of sorts of, okay, I'm going to continue moving forward for X amount of days, weeks, months, and if I don't get X results, that's when I'm going to pull back, make changes, adjust, etc. So there's something here about not only being discerning, but even giving yourself a deadline to do so that you don't endlessly continue feeding something that is not for you, that is not fulfilling for you, that is not aligned for you in some way, so that you can create freedom for yourself and maybe even move in a new direction. So let us look at the theme card. Ooh, I love a good surprise. Disengage. To disown something that is not aligned with who you are. To disagree, to step away from a toxic influence, and to take a break. This is your mic drop moment and a boundary. So there is a boundary that might need to be put in place in the month of May. But first, you have to evaluate what that boundary might be and in what area of your life that might need to be in. So this might be a good thing to contemplate, consider, write about, meditate on, put at the back of your mind while you're doing mindless things and see what comes. But more importantly, bring awareness to this so that you can really understand and observe how certain things are playing out, how you're feeling in that process. And oftentimes that awareness and that observation can be the only thing that you need to do. I do feel action will be required once you get clear about something, but first it's about contemplation, consideration, observation, and awareness before you can understand how to take that action and figure out what needs to go. So it's the pause before that disengagement or that pulling away or those changes start being implemented. I'm feeling like I need to give you another card. I'm going to grab you another oracle card to finalize your reading because I don't like asymmetry. And that's pretty much the only reason. No, I'm kidding. I do feel like you need a little more support here, so we're going to pull another card just to see what wants to come through. Permission. Wow. So to me, this feels like in choices at the bottom of the deck there. So there is a choice that I feel you eventually will need to make, but first you need to give yourself permission to allow certain things to not be for you, to give yourself permission to want to detach or disengage from something, for it to not to be something that you have to carry anymore. And it's okay to not complete something. So giving yourself permission to say, I've tried and it's just not working. Giving yourself a little compassion for that as well. Because this can be, depending on the circumstance, the situation, it can be a challenge. So you might not be giving yourself permission to let go, to give up. But it might be necessary for you to step into what's next. So that is this month's reflection, my dear Soul Path 1. Subscribe if you'd like to continue exploring these messages with me, and head into the description for more ways to connect. And with that, I will see you in your next reading. For those who chose the Pure Purite stone, this message is going to be for you. Your monthly soul alignment session. And just like pile 1, we're going to pull a theme card. But if it flips down, we're going to wait till the end to reveal it. And that was actually quite fun. So we're going to continue that. If it flips down, face down, we're not going to look at it till the end. If it's face up, then we will acknowledge it. So theme for May, for Soul Path 2, please, Spirit. Okay, you've got 2, and they were flipped up, so we will look at them. Attract and potential. So what powers and opportunities are waiting to be explored, activated, and manifested? And what is the trajectory of expansion? How will you choose to shine and grow? And attract is to welcome and become available, to be ready to hold and broadcast an intention. What are you manifesting, Soul Path 2? I feel like you want to attract something lovely, something abundant, or maybe you just want to step into your potential a little more. But maybe this reading will be about looking at what you might be attracting, or showing you what your potential, your power, your opportunities are this month. That's very exciting. So let's get into it with your tarot for Soul Path 2. Ooh. Okay. So let's look at your current energy as you're entering the month. We have the King of Pentacles, big energy. Let's look at your challenge or your opportunity. May not be known yet. It's the Death in reverse. And the guidance or the how-to. The Page of Swords in reverse. Bottom of the deck is the Three of Wands in reverse. So there's your expansive energy, but it's in reverse. So this could be an internal expansion where you would like to feel a different way, act a different way, behave a different way, maybe connect with your intuition more deeply, or tap into that higher self. So I almost wonder if there's affirmations that you've been doing, or you're connecting in with your spirituality a little bit more. And yeah, there's something about really stepping into the energy to be able to attract the things that you would like to attract, regardless of what area of life it is. So I feel like you're coming into the month with the King of Pentacles. So I feel that you might have some success under your belt. You might run a business. You might have interest in running a business. This might be your higher self or an aspect of yourself that you'd like to step into. So someone that is abundant, someone that is a leader, someone that is good with finances or sells something that people really are attracted to. You might have experience in that area, but you could be on your way to mastering that or wanting to master that. I just feel like that's the energy you want to embody. It's like, here I am in my fullest, highest expression, in my fullest potential. I'm running a business, or I am a CEO, or I'm a leader of some kind of group or community. And you're just showing up with very big, bold energy. And I feel you would like to create abundance for yourself, but also for others. This feels like a very helpful energy. And so I feel right now you're in this space of, what do I need to do? What do I need to believe? What do I need to feel in order to do that, in order to reach my highest potential, in order to attract the clients or the opportunities that I would like to attract? You want to be magnetic. This is a really lovely energy. You let me know in the comments what you're attracting, because yeah, I'd love to hear it. Death in reverse is your challenge or your opportunity. Now, in this process of wanting to attract, of wanting to step into something big and bold, stepping into your higher self, your potential, I feel like there are some things that need to be released. This is a slow decay of something, but it is in the reverse. So again, this could be an internal process where it's an internal belief, a framework, an understanding, a story, a pattern, but it could also be something that you're resistant to release, something that you're hanging on to. You know it's no longer for you. You know it no longer aligns, but there's still a holding on. And there could be very good reason for that. It's not my place to judge. But your opportunity this month is exploring where you are hanging on when you might need to let go. And only you can answer that. So getting really honest with yourself about that. This could be a lesson that you are repeating over and over again, maybe attracting the same people, circumstances, situations, and you can't understand why. So it's really getting clear and maybe exploring that in a little more depth of, what are you thinking, feeling? What are you believing? How are you behaving? How are you responding? What are those patterns that continue to show up as well? And how can you break those things? I feel like this thing has been slowly decaying over a period of weeks, months, probably years. So it is a big deal. And it speaks to rebirth. So I feel you're on this threshold of letting maybe an old identity go and welcoming a new identity. And there's some fear about releasing that old identity because it's familiar, it's known, it's comfortable, but it still might not fit. So we have the Page of Swords in reverse as your guidance or your how-to. And this is interesting that it is in reverse because, again, we're coming back to that resistance of it being in reverse. This could be an internal thing as well. And because it is a court card, it could also be a complex of maybe an assumption that you're making about yourself of, I can't learn anything new, I'm too old to do something, or this is an immature move, this is something that I just won't be able to do. Maybe there's a block, there's a limiting belief, there's a thought that is stopping you from staying open to the process, open to an experience. And the guidance here is to figure out where that's happening, where you're blocking yourself, stopping yourself before you start, not really opening up to new things, new opportunities, new possibilities, new thoughts, new patterns, new ideas. Because the pages are that learner energy. They are curious, specifically with the page. They are opening up to new information, allowing yourself to make mistakes. So is there a fear of making mistakes here as you step into this potential? So it's almost like you're saying goodbye to an old identity or an old career path, and you want to step into the new thing, the new career path, the new identity as fully formed and embodied. That would be lovely. I wish that was the case. But it requires us to learn. It requires us to stumble. It requires us to make mistakes and get into that messiness of the process of learning. And so maybe there is a resistance to doing that because you don't want to go through that process. But understanding that it is the pathway to reaching that potential, to stepping into that magnetism and to attract the opportunities, the people, the experiences that you would like to attract. So again, I feel like this is an internal process. It doesn't have anything to do with external stuff. And those questions on these cards here might be a really lovely way to tap into that energy. And I'll say them again. What powers and opportunities are waiting to be explored, activated, and manifested? What is the trajectory of expansion, and how will you choose to shine and grow? There might be a bit of shadow work in there. Ultimately, that's light work of what is your big vision. But then the shadow aspect of that is what's standing in your way, what's blocking you. And are you welcoming and being available and ready to be able to hold this new expression? Ooh, magic. I love that. And expect the unexpected. So yeah, expect some exciting things to happen, but also expect to be a little uncomfortable in this process as well. Magic. And I love this because I feel you've got a lot of magician energy within you. You have a lot of potential that I think you're just touching the surface of. And you might be spiritual. You might have a sense of magic. How can you see this process as magical? Even though it might not all be love and light, even though it might be uncomfortable, how can you see these mistakes as discoveries, as adding something to the cauldron to see what happens, removing something from the cauldron, starting over again, and perfecting that craft, making this feel a little magical? But also, I feel like the opportunities will feel magical once you start walking this path, embodying, but also releasing things in that same breath. So that is this month's reflection, my dear Soul Path 2. Subscribe if you'd like to continue exploring these messages with me, and head into the description for more ways to connect. And with that, I'll see you in your next reading. For those who chose the peacock ore, this is going to be your month ahead soul alignment session. I was specifically guided to choose this stone for Soul Path 3. So that might be relevant for you, resonant for you. If it is resonant or relevant, let me know in the comments. So we're going to get a theme card, and if it flips face down, we will reveal it at the end. If it flips face up, we will use that to start off our reading today. Soul Path 3, theme card for Soul Path 3, please. Thank you. We have worldview. Your point of view, your perspective, your opinions and attitude. You can also dive deeper and use this card to explore your core values, ingrained beliefs, and childhood conditioning. So how are all of those things currently affecting how you see yourself, your experiences, your potential, your opportunities, and the world at large? That's a big one. That's a really big one. And no judgment with this stuff. It can be heavy stuff. So this is about getting curious and just observing or inquiring, noting things down, understanding. And figuring out what your core values are, I feel could be really strong theme for you in the month of May, specifically as we're in Taurus season. Thinking of Pentacles, I'm thinking of the Hierophant. So let's get into your tarot today of your current energy specifically for card 1. 8 of Cups. Soul Path 1 got that. So you challenge or opportunity. We have the King of Swords in reverse. And one more, guidance or how-to. The 6 of Pentacles. So there's your Pentacle card. Feel that there's something about reciprocity, bringing balance back into your life, finding some kind of equilibrium. And we have the Empress in the upright at the bottom of the deck. So that is the shadow card and an underlying current that you may not see that's just bubbling below the surface, maybe of your self-conscious, but also the month of May. So the 8 of Cups is this energy of not feeling fulfilled, satisfied, feeling like you want to give up, throw in the towel. You need to go on a quest to figure out what fulfills you, what your desires are, what you find pleasurable, and even finding emotional depth or relationships that make you feel nourished. But also understanding how you can do that for yourself, because after the 8 is the 9, and the 9s are those individual expressions of the suit. And there may be some unfulfilled desires or dreams here that you would like to start exploring. Maybe you would like to start nurturing, or this could be something in your environment, something in your body that you would like to start nourishing a little bit more because you feel drained. You don't feel quite satisfied with how you feel within your environment or your body. So you'd like to start to figure out what that might look like to feel fulfilled in those areas of life. So I feel there's some kind of knowledge that you would like to gain or understand here. We have the King of Swords in reverse, and this is your challenge and your opportunity. Now, there could be a father figure here, possibly a passed on father figure, and this doesn't have to be gender specific, but it's someone of authority that is a divine masculine energy. So someone that takes charge, someone that makes decisions, someone that had a lot of knowledge or even has a lot of knowledge. Now, this could be a suppressed aspect within you as well. It could be a complex where you feel like you don't have enough information, you don't have clarity, you can't make good decisions. Maybe you're feeling a little impulsive, or it's your way or the highway, and that only your perspective or ideas or decisions are the only thing that matters. No judgment here. But this could also be somebody in your external world as well, whether they are current or someone that has passed on, that I feel has really challenged how you feel about yourself, how you think about yourself, how you think about the world, and have even structured some of the beliefs you have about who you are. Now, again, if this is an aspect of yourself, of let's say an inner critic, that could also be something there as well. So your opportunity is to deepen your understanding, but also learn how you are making choices based on something that doesn't feel healthy. And not feeling healthy could be the way that somebody speaks to you, communicates with you. Again, this could be an internal thing where this is how you speak to yourself, how you might impulsively make decisions based on a fear, based on an ingrained belief that you have that you've been carrying that is not serving you. That could also be that childhood conditioning, and now you've carried that criticism with you for a lifetime. So this is changing that. And I feel that changing that is a process. It's going to take time, but it also is going to change the way you see the world, the way you see yourself, the way you make decisions. So I feel that's going to be a very significant challenge for you, but also it's going to be very profound when you engage with this and understand this without judgment, because this Empress energy is here. That is the divine feminine, which is opposing that divine masculine. So this is compassion. This is self-care. This is aligning to your values. This is offering yourself permission and diving into the pleasures of life, the joys of life, feeling satisfied in your life, creating the world and the environment that you would like to live in. That's also internal environments as well. And the Six of Pentacles, which is your how-to and your guidance, is bringing balance back into that conversation, that internal conversation that might be happening. This is focusing on what you feed with your time, energy, resources. To me, this is also giving me justice energy, because the scales are often found in the Justice card. And with the Justice card, I always think of a judge. They don't have an emotional response or an impulsive way of making decisions. They gather facts. So again, coming back to that practical way of looking at things, of what are the facts? How can I work with this? How can I find maybe the polar opposite of the negative feelings or beliefs or thoughts that I've been having? And how can I better balance those things? How can I counterbalance or offset those things? Where instead of this divine masculine or this inner critic getting the better of you, or this fear, this stress, or something that's happening within you driving decisions that don't feel aligned or that feel pressured in some way, how can you counterbalance that with that divine feminine energy of patience, taking your time, of softening the edges, of offering a little bit more understanding? So I feel your point of view, going back to that first card, your point of view, your perspective, your opinions, and your attitude are kind of coming into the spotlight or being highlighted here. And if those things are no longer serving you, again, no judgment. how can you work through those things a little bit, or bring focus to how you might be able to navigate them, or I don't want to say eliminate, integrate them, understand them, or simply bring awareness to them, observe them. And maybe how can you find support in that? Because the Six of Pentacles is that energy of give and take, of reciprocity. Get a final card to end your reading. Permission. This also came out in Soul Path 1. There could be messages in there for you, but if not, trust that you have received everything you need in this reading. Yeah, there's something about giving yourself permission to change your mind, to do things in a different way. So there could be something that you're believing, like, I can't change my mind, or I can't change the way that I do something. This is how I am. Is that true? Maybe you need to simply give yourself permission to change, to find something that's more aligned, or that feels more nourishing, more helpful, more beneficial to your growth, your well-being, your future. Because ultimately, I feel this is about what you want to create for yourself in the future, and how you want to feel in that creation. Sometimes, in order for us to get there, we must first analyze what's getting in the way of that. So that is this month's reflection, my dear Soul Path 3. Subscribe if you'd like to continue exploring these messages with me, and head into the description for more ways to connect. And with that, I'll see you in your next reading.